Welcome back. It's the Kill Team Casuals. It's the faces you're used to seeing, the voices that are usually in your ear holes. We've got Ben from Battle Brothers Tabletop. We've got Russ from GFN Gaming.
You know it.
Yeah, we've got Rhys from Threes to Wound, who remembered to wake up this week.
Hey, nice of you to join us, pal.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Guys, thanks for having this in my time zone. This is really sweet. I appreciate it. What you guys don't understand is it's like we are actually so far back that I'm actually just turning up for last time's episode. It's a full
Kill Team Into the Dark just has been released for where Rhys lives.
Exactly.
It's just been announced.
Show us exactly. I'm excited, guys. Have you seen these pictures? They're really cool. Let's go through them.
Well, that's because Australia exists in the warp, right? Is that how that works?
You can, again, for the visual partakers, there is part of said warp just floating over my shoulder there. So yeah, it's a balmy negative 948 in the warp today. Mm-hmm. But that could change at any given moment depending how many sacrifices happen, in your universe. So we'll see where the episode takes us. We've lost Russ already.
Russ has just left. He's back.
He's just gone to call the Inquisition. It was fine.
And he's back. Just getting comfortable, lads.
I thoroughly enjoyed last week's episode. You guys did an amazing job. I'm always chuffed any show that manages to get a Rob Roy reference into it at any point.
I pushed for three, but Ben said cap it at the one.
Cut back to one.
It's like people aren't going to get it. People aren't going to get it.
Don't push your luck, man. Don't push your luck, kid. That's what I said. Yeah.
Well, look, we'll see. We'll see if we can top that today. I don't know how you can top Rob Roy, but we'll see. We'll find something. That's really on us to
Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy. Oh man,
yeah.
That's the reference. The Warren Beatty classic, Dick Tracy. If we can get that in, I mean, we already have.
You already did.
We
already have.
Bit on the nose, but we'll accept it. Yeah.
What was the bad guy in that who had the tiny face? Was his name like Tiny? Remember there was the dude, and
this guy with a baby face who had a massive face, didn't he?
That's it, baby face. That's it.
I think it's baby face. Yeah.
Yeah, not tiny face. Who would have thought it?
Tiny face.
But we're here to talk about Kill Team, allegedly.
The Dick Tracy podcast, guys. Welcome.
Dick Tracy Casuals.
Oh, man, I would love to be part of a Dick Tracy podcast. I'm not sure why, but I mean, we'll get past this in a moment, but I think that was prime Madonna. If I'm honest, that was Madonna at her best.
She peaked. During Dick Tracy. There's probably a joke there, but we'll move on. Never the same. So, what have we been working on? Russ, do you want to kick it off as you take a sip of your drink? I'll
take a massive sip of drink. Yeah, sure.
What have you been working on?
Well, I've been so I'm always kind of plugging away at the old campaign. So I'm editing together Grey Knights and Demons, the classic fight. So I'm editing one of them, and I've been playing a lot of one-page rules. Pardon me while I belch. It's over.
Could you
now.
do it closer to the mic next time, please?
I can belch at will if you really want one, but I don't want to peak the audio to you.
I'm sure we'll edit that out. I'm sure we'll take that out. Don't worry about it.
Something my mum's still proud of me to this day for. Belching the old alphabet. That's what he went to school for. But yeah, no, I've been playing one-page rules. The fantasy, my brother came down over the weekend and we played a whole bunch of games. He's into his more kind of fantasy than we did play Grimdark Future, which is the 40k equivalent, which is great. And we played the fantasy one. I had played 6th edition previously, but I really like one-page rules fantasy. It's just nice. It feels like the game, because they try to simplify the armies, but they still want to give you the flavor, so you've got all your armies in there, but they kind of simplify the rules down to mainly 2 stats, quality and defense. And sometimes you get like a toughness value if it's like a model with more than 1 wound, but it's basically quality, defense, everyone moves the same, and there's a bunch of key rules. But it means that because the game is kind of, all the armies are pretty much leveled the same, it comes down to player skill a little bit more, which is quite nice. Like, everyone complains about, I want a much more balanced game, and it's actually a pretty balanced game. It's just, you obviously lose a little bit of that flavor with all those individual rules because that's what makes it unbalanced. But it's quite nice. It was quite nice. You can get a game out in little to no time at all, so it's quite fun. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. Rhys, I'm going to throw it back to you, man. What have you been doing? What have you been getting up to?
Well, once I remembered to wake up and arose from my slumber, I had a battle report that I'm working on at the moment this week. Originally, it was meant to be Novitiates versus it was going to be the Blooded, because I really wanted to see both those teams on the board. And I'd been painting like a madman to get them done. Unfortunately, the Novitiates didn't quite make the cuts. They weren't done in time. But I had also just finished painting my Corsairs. So I hadn't got to take them for a run. So I finally got to put those two teams on the table. And I really enjoyed it. I won't spoil things, but yeah, it was an interesting game, as all of the games I seem to play are. They're never normal. They're always interesting. I'm sure there'll be a few rules pointed out that I got incorrect. Also true. But no, so I'm looking forward to
roast him in the comments.
Yeah.
Start now. Just how about you guess what I'm going to get wrong?
Yeah, pre-roast in
That's
the
the
comments of this
segment.
video. Yeah.
I'm fair game. It's fair.
Prognosticar. Guess the rules he gets wrong.
I'm terrible. I know. And of course, as you guys pointed out last week, being a trader, playing a bit of Big Hammer, still
please.
building away like a... Yeah, I know. Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's still too near.
I think I just literally heard everyone turn off. I think a lot of people have just turned off the podcast when they heard that. That's awkward. But I mean, yes, working away on my Celestial Lions, still adding some new units to them and building, and played a few games. I still definitely Kill Team's still my boy. It's still number one. It'll always be number one in my heart. But there's definitely elements of 40k that the big boy that I enjoy. The thing I would say, like what Russ said, though, the level of complexity at times and how long the games can take, especially compared to what it says suggested the games will take versus what they actually take.
Yeah.
I think it's like for 1,000-point game, it's like should take about 2 hours. And I'm like,
well, it reckons.
Yeah, I'm like, to set up, like for me and my mate to stop talking nonsense and actually remember to start rolling for the game. Like,
just to discuss the lists. That's how long that takes.
We want to get one of those things, in chess when they play like speed chess, those little clocks that they have to like hit. So it's like speed. I think we need to play Speed Hammer. I think is what we're.
You would run out of batteries, man.
Yeah.
Like, just dead. 7 hours. I think that was your go, right? Yeah.
I did also think that is the other way. Maybe if we just took some speed, maybe that would also be how. I think Ben knows. Ben knows a guy in that shirt.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it has to be mentioned. We have to, before we go any further, address the visual viewers of this YouTube video that the Ben shirt is just on the Kev scale. It is. We are now we are past
tipping the scales.
14. Yeah. We are 16 out of 14 on this shirt being best thing that's happened in this podcast, I think so far.
It's a loud shirt, and I've been insecure wearing it, and I'm glad that you just brought so much attention to it, Russ. Thank you. That was what I was afraid of when I bought it, because it was the only thing that I was like, maybe I'll try this. When you're trying out a new thing, and it's like you go way too hard into the new look, and everybody's like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" It's like, I don't know, never mind, I'll take it off. Yeah, and I'm normally a black T-shirt guy. That's normally what I do, and but I'm stepping out a little bit. And
I like to think you've matched it with some cutoffs or something as well, just for the Florida heat. Just really.
That's why, honestly, one of the reasons it's like paper thin. It's so cool and cool in many ways.
Yes,
and
so genuinely, I love it. I think it's amazing.
Well. Since we're
sincerely, like genuinely, it's great.
Apart from your shirt being the main thing you've been working on, what else have you been working on?
I think in the last pod I was still working on the same thing, but I'm just bashing up a bunch of Red Corsairs, Legionaries. Because I like it. I have other teams to build. I have a bunch of Tau that I need to give man buns. Or as somebody in my Discord server, I was I was trying to find in the Battle Brothers, I was trying to find a a pun for it, and somebody just like nailed it. It was like, oh, this is a better written joke. Did I say this in the last pod, Russ? I'm sorry if I'm retreading old ground. But a taup knot, not a top knot, but a taup knot, and so I have all that to do, and I've been playing some games. I've recently converted a good buddy, longtime buddy of mine. His name is Jackson. If he probably won't listen, but shout out to Jackson, who definitely won't watch this.
No, I'm not that
He's
good a friend.
no, no, he's so good a friend that he doesn't care. It's like that weird spectrum. It's like, no, I'm not gonna watch you do. I love you, but I'm not gonna watch that. So he's like getting really into Kill Team, and he's loving the new Phobos Marines. So I'm getting a lot of matches in against Phobos, and they're pretty. I mean, they're pretty capable, man. They have some tricks. I've actually been impressed playing against them. And even he's a new player, and he has not even using all of the tricks they have in the bag. But so a lot of games in against those, and then I have some really cool terrain that I've been taking around. I finally got to play on it. The terrain that buddy Andrew K made up, and everybody at the game store loves it. Like I bring it out, and
people made those
yes,
people made.
People, yeah. So I bring it. Once I bring that out around the local game store, everybody wants to play Kill Team now because it's just so dope.
That's great.
Yeah,
so
it's very cool looking
all we
terrain.
Need to convert people is some LEDs in it.
Sweet terrain, yeah. And honestly, people like everybody, like these two guys were playing a 40K match, and they left 40K, Big Hammer, Rhys, sorry, Dirty Dog over here,
the Aussie
came over. Yeah, they left 40K to come, drool over this terrain. So I was like, oh, this is working out.
What it takes. That's what it takes.
I hope you explain to them. You're like, sorry guys, you can't actually use it for Big Hammer either. I'm sorry, it's not compatible. The lights don't. If you start playing, the lights go out.
Yeah, if you have more than 10 models on this board, it will break. Yeah, it won't work for you. Yeah,
rules are rules. Rules are rules.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Tau Legionaries. That's what I've been doing, and just getting some games in. So that's been me.
I dig it. One thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, how do you, obviously, I guess, go about picking your teams? So like, when you're like, oh, what's my next game? Like, obviously you're working on the Corsairs at the moment, Ben. Russ is playing the wrong game. But when you guys are playing Kill Team, what are you guys?
Am I the only one here still playing Kill Team? Am I the only guy here still playing Kill Team?
Hey, it's in the name. Casuals.
Am I the Kill Team casual here in this podcast?
Well, no, the other, we're just so casual we don't even play it anymore. Yeah. That's how casual we are.
That's achieving true casualness. Yeah.
Blasé is the word I would use. But no, because I've been very big and heavy and leaning into like the rule of cool with the teams I play at the moment. So I definitely, at first it was kind of you wanted to know who was good or who was playing good. But, now I'm just like, I think that team either looks cool or their rules are just, because you sort of touched on the Phobos there and your friend playing them. They're definitely not top tier, but I think they're so much fun to play. They've got so many shenanigans, and they're like a joy to play. Whereas there's some teams that are very good, but I don't think they're necessarily fun to play. Is that how you guys go about picking your teams?
I can go, Russ. Thank you. Yeah. So for me, I'm loving Legionaries and Chaos Marines right now. So that's what I'm playing. I come from playing just tons and tons of Guard. I have so many reps in with Guard, and I think I'll go back eventually. But, I like teams that are kind of like you said, that are easier to play. And Legionaries in the spectrum of bespoke teams are on the easier side of piloting. There's not quite so much synergy. Like Phobos, like for me, there's just a lot of things like, I like big beefy guys who can just shoot good and punch good. And Legionaries do that, and they don't rely on each other a ton, which I know like good players use those synergies, but I'm like, just one more thing for me to think about. So I kind of rule of cool as well. Casuals, talking to 3 casual players, that's at least how I do it. Probably pretty similar, just whatever I'm into at the time.
Yeah. I always like the games or I feel like I enjoy the games more where both yourself and the other player has a good idea what both sides do and what both sides bring to the game. And I feel like you get those games that are just like not unfun, but like you're just like, oh man, and you get like absolutely destroyed when you really just have no idea what the other team's bringing. But like the problem is you're like, I'm going to move this person there, and you're like, you have no idea that person can just completely negate that move with like some sort of special thing. You're like, so that was a stupid move. So I really enjoy, and I think the most fun I have the reason I really enjoyed Kill Team 18 because it was that whole game in a vacuum. You got a book and every army was there. So if you had the book, you had a good chance that you would skim through and kind of know what every army was bringing.
Pretty interesting.
So I love compendium. Like at the moment, I feel like unless it's a team that I know well or have played against well. So I not played against well, but played against a lot. So I like playing Vet Guard because I kind of know what they bring now. Wormblade, same thing. I kind of know what they're bringing. But it's one of those things that every time I face a team that I've never played from before, I'm always like, oh no, like I don't want to be the guy that's like, could you spend 40 minutes of this like small amount of time we've got to play this game to explain in depth why everything I'm going to try to do is pointless. Like, just tell me now. Just like, if I move him there, like it's unrealistic to be like treat me like, especially if you're playing like in a more tournament setting and you're like a casual tournament, because that's what I'm playing generally at the moment. It's kind of like a casual tournament game. But yeah, the most fun I've had has been compendium versus compendium, where both players kind of, they know that other team pretty well because it's a compendium team and you're used to it. You know what it didn't have because you know when the new teams came out, they had all this fancy jazz and you were like, well, I know a compendium team's not going to have that fancy jazz. Right. So you kind of know what you're getting into and you can play a little bit more tactically in a weird way. You can be like, this is going to be, I know what I'm going to try and do, and it's basically going to be their skill that's going to outdo me, not the fact that their team's just better and then they can just cancel what I'm doing. So I'm really loving if I want to just have fun, compendium versus compendium is a real nice casual game until I become more used to the old non-compendium teams.
Well, you touched on that a little bit with the one-page rule stuff, isn't it? Like, the balance, and especially with the small change they've made to compendium, it does feel like that's nearly a self-contained, game, and that now the specialist teams are, they add a lot of flavor, but that's it. There's a reason there's lots of tier lists and power lists and they're having to do a lot more nerfs because they do have all these weird and wonderful things, but they make the game infinitely more complicated. At the same time.
So the more stuff you add, the more flavor, the more fluff you add into a team, and like inevitably, the more complicated, the more difficult it is to balance. But I would love to see, and I would love to attend a compendium only tournament. If they were like this tournament, compendium teams only, I think you would get some really good plays because you can't rely on the fancy moves like the writhing ingress of the cults. You can't do the hiding stuff. You've got to outplay the opponent with a team that is, I mean, there is some imbalance in the compendium as well, but it's been out long enough that I think people who have played compendium teams have played them enough to know what they're doing with their team. And I think that's a good thing to be like, well, I know what I'm going to do with my Oops All Gene Stealer list. I'm going to do this. This is how I'm going to play them. I'm going to play the objectives. I'm going to use movement really well and stuff like that. And I'm going to use my all stealth Tau team for this specific reason, and they're very used to their teams. I'd quite like that actually, a compendium tournament. That would be quite interesting.
So you heard it here first. Russ is going to be hosting a compendium only tournament in his backyard.
I'm actually going to be hosting in Melbourne. So if there's anyone in the area, if you contact at 3 Stone, he's going to put you all up. He's got a lovely space. He's guaranteed before. I'm sure he'll confirm here. Yeah.
This backfired so quick. I thought I was in control of this joke, and then it just now there's people in my yard. It's like Woodstock out there. Dice rolling out of control. What happened? Jesus. Speaking of, I guess we were talking about rules changes and rules upgrades. One of the big ones we've seen
Goodness.
Yeah, and I need to discuss it. I was upset I didn't get to discuss this with you guys the other week when you had the podcast without me. It was fine. I'm not even mad. Was that the new stuff came out, FAQ errata stuff. I never know what the difference is. But yeah, I wanted to discuss with you guys how you went with the new rules and the new updates.
Well, can you teach us, Rhys? Can you tell us? Can you walk through and explain what these changes are and what they mean for us? And can you talk to us like we're in like kindergarten?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys.
But not for us, obviously, for the people listening at home.
Yeah. Definitely not for us.
could.
In case anyone out there doesn't, wasn't able to understand it. Yeah.
Obviously, Ben,
I
you
totally
get it 100%.
understand it.
Right? Yeah, I
could.
get it as well.
We
I could do Electron.
But
yeah.
I think maybe just to make up for, for not being here last week, I think
Yeah.
Rhys could just explain it. If that seems, that's all I'm asking here.
Yeah.
Seeing as you are editing this episode as well, Rhys, now would be the good time to put on the PowerPoint with all the points.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And the theme song that you said you were going to write. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called Rhys's Rules. Welcome.
Oh my God, that's the one. That's the segment.
That's really good. I mean, I know
That
you
is
just
good.
like off the top of
Rhys's
your head.
Rules.
That's pretty good.
And here's my clicker for the slide.
It's just a game, rolling some dice for big rules. You can't tell the difference, then you need Rhys's Rules.
So, guys, as you can see, oh god, no! This is obviously we literally just made a joke about me getting shit canned in the comments for not getting the rules wrong, and now I've been put in charge of explaining rules.
Now you're the spiritual leader of rules on this podcast.
Yeah,
yes.
What could possibly go wrong? A bunch of casuals, blind leading the blind. But the one I want to talk to about. Well, first off, sorry, let me play the intro again.
Line of sight, vantage point, obscure. It's just a game, rolling some dice for big rules. You can't tell the difference, then you need Rhys's Rules.
Yeah, that was great. That's so good.
Seminal work.
Yeah, that's
really
wow.
great. I didn't know you could sing like that or play the harp.
Well,
Yeah. How did you get those strings with the didge? Like the didgeridoo kind of in the groundbreaking work.
Well, the secret is he uses a boomerang for a pick. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense because the video it showed him playing a guitar with a boomerang.
Right. Yeah.
Now it makes sense.
Where did that third arm come from?
That's Gene Steeler cult. That's obviously Australia's been infiltrated for some time now. Well,
now it's a podcast, boys. Now it's a podcast.
I forgot. This is why I didn't turn up last week. This is what happened. It's the subtle bullying, guys. Okay. Anyway, what I was trying to say before. Does anyone want to say anything about Rob Roy while we're at the moment? No. Russ, at least about what? That was good. All right.
We hit our quota last week.
We're
only allowed one per season.
So the one that I wanted to touch on was the one about vantage points. Because I've always vantage points have always been. It technically, in theory, should be a simple one, like in terms of how they operate in the game. But obviously, the biggest thing and weird thing for us was that whenever someone's trying to shoot up at them, obviously the floor's in the way or there's terrain in the way. So working out the best way to see if you can see them and what that meant for the model. Like we call it the shoelacer, which is a shoelace, which is what we use for a lot of times for doing like line of sight and firing lines. In
the US we have batteries. We use laser pointers. We have batteries.
I've got a laser pointer as well.
I've got one of those
Rhys
too.
is over there using like an intestinal track of a dingo, just like that's how you can tell. He's not denying it. Folks, he's not denying it.
It's like Mad Max over here, guys. We don't have batteries.
No, you're the battery king. Yeah. You're like some character villain, the battery king.
I've got to stop trying to keep Mad Max out of my. Mel Gibson keeps trying to jump my back fence to steal my batteries. It's a mess.
Actually, I think Russ is out of batteries because all his lights went off there.
I changed screens.
Ben's shirt got him to switch the mood lighting on. He was like, "Ooh,
Oh yeah, my lights have gone off."
Yeah.
Oh man. Sorry, I totally derailed what you were doing. I'm sorry, Rhys.
Vantage points.
You
know, that's what I was doing. I was looking. I was trying to find.
Oh, the rules.
Well, yeah, kind of. I'm trying to find something that someone wrote to me that explained the rules to, like, as if I was a 5-year-old.
So perfect. This is what we need.
I don't know I've been so out of touch. Like I've not actually sat down and read the new FAQs. And I got even more confused when I tried to. Not that like I can't read. I obviously could. It's not like I tried to read the FAQs and failed. Got like nosebleed and passed out. But I was looking at them.
A lot of detail there for something that didn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, I was in hospital for 3 days while they contemplated switching off my life support. That didn't happen. What?
I was completely awake talking to them. I was like, don't turn it off. I'm here, and they're like, I really think we should. This is very. I think we should turn it off. I think he's a goner. I'm like, I'm right here, guys. Like, look at him. Look at him.
There's no
this is a kindness.
There's no fun.
This is a kindness for you and the world. Yeah. We'll actually pay you. But no. So I always thought, and this is, well, I'm going to kick us off. I always thought, as per the core rulebook, you couldn't use the floor to give you cover.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then someone said that's what the FAQ says. So I'm wrong there. So what does the FAQ say?
Yeah. So the original wording of that it's adjusted was the operative cannot use the floor of the vantage point as cover or to be obscured. Now they've basically lost the part. It's now the operative cannot use the floor of the vantage point to be obscured. So
they can use it for cover.
I now read that as they can get cover from the floor or terrain below them. Right. Because it's saying the second dot point, originally it was the operative cannot use parts of the vantage point's terrain feature that is lower than the operative as cover or to be obscured. And again, they've lost the part about cover. So it just says to be obscured.
To be obscured. So an all-scout sniper team is now looking pretty damn mean.
Well, that was what the question got brought up in my last game was, therefore, does that mean, if you are in conceal, aka sneaky boy mode, as we call it.
Silent weapons.
Sneaky boy mode. Does that mean you can be in sneaky boy and effectively hidden from the ground? Because I know it says obscured, but obscured is to be circled back from heavy terrain.
So I'm going to ask a question that I know none of us as Kill Team casuals will be able to answer sufficiently. So I don't know why I'm asking it, but I'm going to ask it.
Yes, does that mean switch your life support off?
In fact, I would drive the truck that hit you first and then demand
hook you up to the machine to switch it off.
Just for that pleasure of the
He's stable, good.
He's gonna make it. You telling me he's gonna? No, he's not. There you go. Take that, Mrs. V. Yeah. She'd be with you. No, so does that mean that indirect weaponry? I'm thinking the Kellamorph with his stubs. And I asked this question fully knowing I haven't thought about it enough to answer it. So I'm going to hope one of you guys would be able to target it. Because that means, doesn't indirect take away cover?
Well,
or is it just the cover roll?
Well, rules is written. I've got a rule book here, guys. Let's take a look.
Man reads book.
Man reads book.
Ooh,
exactly.
My kind of content. Yeah. So like a grenade, or like I said, that would get rid of it, right? Because
enemy operatives are not in cover, so it removes being in cover.
But you have to.
But if this
is wonderful. Three Kill Team channels trying to figure out rules. So if you have line of sight on something that's obscured or in cover,
So
if it's obscured, you wouldn't be able to do anything anyway.
No.
So but if he's not obscured,
if cover is blocking the shot, a grenade or an indirect weapon could get through that.
Yeah.
If they're standing up on there and the only thing between you and them is the floor, and previously you would be able to shoot regardless, because that doesn't even provide cover now. If they were sniper and they were in concealed, technically that cover would be enough to mean you couldn't target them. But if you have indirect and you remove, does it remove light cover? That's what I'm getting confused with.
Well, yeah, see, because this is what brought me around to the other rule that we were getting wrong for a long time, was the fact that for a long time we thought vantage points just removed, put you into engage mode or shooty boy mode, as the professionals call it. So it's either sneaky boy or shooty boy. Like that you could do that regardless of the cover type. It was a long time before we saw the key
Heavy.
light word.
Yeah.
So we were playing that wrong, and for an embarrassingly long time, I might say, especially for someone who runs a Kill Team channel, but casual. Casual.
Was this like last week?
I don't want to talk about it. But it's like sometimes these FAQs make you read the rules.
Yes.
Like you actually only go back over because you have to go back and break it back down to if you don't have the core fundamental of the rule right, then these don't make any sense because you don't understand the basic rules. So how can you understand the more advanced? So that's still my question is, I'm assuming that means if you're in Sneaky Boy and they're shooting up through a floor and they're the firing lines are going to cross that cover, that they can remain hidden on vantage, which makes vantage points infinitely more usable. Because a lot of the time they're pretty suicidal to use because you were just, as the other technical term we use, you were dick in the wind.
Bee's wiener in the wind. Yeah.
Bee's just a bee's wiener in the wind, especially when it's cold.
Now, I think, I feel like vantage points should be dangerous to be up on.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
The give and take.
Yeah, and so this, I mean, did we really need this?
Well, I guess were people being sneaky and using the positioning from that to gain? No, because they cannot use it. Yeah, I was trying to. Were people trying to claim obscured while up on them?
Yeah,
but I guess that's always. Been
narratively, it kind of make if you're thinking fluff wise, it makes sense to be able to use the floor to get cover. If someone's trying to shoot you from below, you should be able to use the floor to block their shot. Like if you're thinking about it, like if I was, I'd use the floor to block a shot. But but I think the whole point was it can't be that good. Like you can't be like able to not be seen at all, because it would mean that snipers right out the bat would have been really good.
Yeah.
But it does seem like that's what they're saying. They're just saying snipers are really good now.
Because that was when we played the game implementing the changes. That was one of the things we found was that all of a sudden those guys we were using the Octarius terrain, and especially that because it does have lots of quite large floors. It's got you could get some guys up there who are really hard to shift because to get a complete firing line on them, you nearly needed to pretty much had to climb up there to get them.
You just
out
have
of
to
there.
charge them, don't you?
Yeah, so that was what I found interesting is that, it feels like a hard swing. And I don't think, by the sounds of it, we all agree that that's roughly the way we should be playing it, that, it's treated as a part of cover. And I guess
I'd love to see them bring back, and I know this is not the segment for this, but it's so linked to it, and it's from like another game system. I'd love to see them, and it worked so well, and I just feel like it would work so well with vantage points being this impossible thing, is if they bring back templates for grenades and have it so that you're able to fire at a spot you can see, and then like have a roll to be like, do I hit where I'm trying to see? And then like if you don't, it scatters, but if you do, it
cool.
I'd love that. Basically, I'm just stealing that from Dead Zone because it's the best thing about Dead Zone, where you can just be like, I'm going to fire into the sky and I can hit anything that's not a bottom level. So I can hit vantage point. So basically, grenade launchers become ideal, specifically made to target vantage. Yeah, because you just basically, you can fire it normally, or you can choose to make let's call it a mortar shot, where you can boosh and you can't fire anything underneath, like a vantage point or anything underneath a level. It has to hit the highest level, but it's got like a scatter effect. Like you roll, you've got to get, I mean, if I steal it exactly from Dead Zone, basically,
You have to roll an
basically
8.
roll
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
on a D6. Go figure. But you've got to hit with 2 of your attacks, otherwise it scatters, and then you just do. I mean, you could do it with D6s. I'm sure you wouldn't have to have loads of scatter. You could just basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just say, yeah, that's roughly where it scatters, and it scatters 2. Or if there's a template that's 2 inches, then it scatters 3 inches, so it definitely doesn't hit the original target, say. But it might hit someone else, and it might hit yours, it might hit that. I just love that idea. I just love scatter. I love a bit of chaos in a game. But I think that would be cool, because then that would be a nice little counter to vantage points.
Yeah, to me, it just seems like, imagine if you played a team like, I'm trying to think of a team that's got lots of snipers, but like the Eldari, the Craft World kill team, you could just put
Scouts,
5 rangers, scout
Right.
rangers up on a thing. And like, I imagine them being hugely hard to shift because, you basically got to get up there to get them. And I guess running at them to do that is probably going to get you shot.
Quite troublesome.
I'm realizing that I've been playing this game wrong this whole time. As you guys are talking, I've been playing the bottom does give cover this entire time.
Oh,
Like, I think-
maybe
Oh,
you
really?
just knew.
You're ahead of the curve.
No, I'm just new. I'm just new to the game. I'm just a noob.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's yeah. No, but yeah, I just like I'm realizing like I think I've been playing it that way this whole time. Like with Octarius,
It
I've been
makes
playing
sense, though,
I've been
doesn't it?
playing it that way the whole time.
Yeah.
Look, logically, I actually think you went rules as intended versus rules as written there. So
It
I
doesn't
don't
make
think,
sense that they wouldn't.
yeah,
Yeah.
We always said that was weird. Like I get that, like you can't, well, it makes sense. It's there, like it's a physical object, so it should provide some form of
You should be able to
benefit.
just ignore it. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
and that was it. I mean, especially some of the other Octarius is quite interesting because there is already quite a bit of light cover on it. But some of the other terrain features too, like you would never use it. You would never want to put a model up there because, you might be able to shoot one model in light cover, but you knew you were kind of borderline sacrificing that unit. You're like, he's going to get picked off next turn, or she's going to get
Bees
dropped
wiener in
next.
the wind. Yeah.
Bees wiener in the wind
for that guy. Yeah.
just flip flopping around. And
Maybe this is a sign of things to come. Maybe they're, because I'm trying to think of teams that have more than one sniper, and maybe they're just, because obviously you got the Eldari, I guess they can have more than one scout. You've got the scouts that can have more than
Scouts.
one sniper. Maybe it's a sign that they are, because you know how they put to bed a couple of the compendium teams in favor of their new releases. Maybe that'll be coming next, and they're like, you know what, you can't. There's only going to be ever one sniper in a team, so we need to make them a little bit more survivable.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've even found playing against scouts in the past before, like against a mate who had a mess load of scouts, and the terrain setup really, really favored them, and they dominated the battlefield because they were right at the back with really good firing
Yeah.
lines, and I literally couldn't do anything about them. So you might be right. Maybe this is a thing of we're going to make the one operative that most teams seem to have, that one sniper, really, really powerful, but you can't have a team of them.
Right. Yeah, because all the bespoke stuff really, I can only think of. Actually, do any bespoke teams have more than one silent shooter?
That's what I'm
Do
thinking. I don't
novitiates
think-
have maybe 2, or is it just the one?
No, I think they've only got the Condemner crossbow.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, and everyone else sets things on fire.
I think it's
or
just
stab things.
typically one silent shooter per bespoke team. I'm sure someone in the
Yeah.
comments let me know how much of an idiot I am, but I think and so maybe it is just an effort to make that one silent shooter that most people have better, and then
the idea that if you can get that's like almost that operative's objective is to get onto a vantage point, because if he gets on that vantage point, then they're gonna but it might take you like a turn or two to get there, but once you're
Right.
there, you're gonna stay there a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know if
work
that's
it a little bit
plan.
more. Yeah,
even
They don't
encouragement
seem
to
to pump
use.
out.
Oh, sorry.
No. I was gonna say they don't seem to pump out loads of damage. Like I'm thinking of
No.
the vet sniper. I don't know that many. They are annoying.
Vanguard
It's
sniper is
like,
pretty solid though. With
is it
his
only Mortal
spotter,
Wound 1 though?
it's Mortal Wounds 3, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it. Maybe I'm thinking of it wrong.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of Melta's probably actually.
With
Melta's
silent.
pretty. I mean, is this
hang on.
going to be all immaterial? Everyone's going to be playing into the dark, and as far as we can tell, there's
Well,
not going to be vantage points.
The sniper is Mortal Wound 3. We've gone.
I
Rhys's
thought so.
rules
That's actually pretty
says
good then.
Mortal Wounds 3.
Yeah,
It's-
that is a monster sniper. Like
That's not too bad.
was it 3 Mortal Wounds 3, and with the spotter you can just like uncover somebody. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a monster sniper. And I mean the Wormblade sniper is a beast
Wormblade.
as well. If you
Yes.
can get him there, holy
Scientist,
crap,
yeah.
that is a beast.
Does this encourage you to want to play a bit more of the sentry stuff as well? You know, like because I don't think I've played much of it, but you know that pre-game game, you know, where you can
Yeah.
sneak a model in and do stuff. Is that encouraging people to want to play that aspect to take your sniper model and get them up on that vantage point at the start of the game? I don't know if that would encourage anyone to want to play it. Hasn't worked on me so far.
Yeah, just speaking personally, I forgot sentries existed. I've not played one round, and
So
I
casual.
plan on playing in the future, playing 0 rounds with it. I just have no interest at all. I forgot it was there, guys. But I
Yeah.
think you're right. I think it would make that like a silent shooter who needs to get somewhere better. I mean, you definitely have a point. I just forgot that was a thing.
Yeah,
I think Games Workshop
not-
forgot that was a thing.
Haven't heard much
like
about it.
they need
since.
to introduce it into like core rules if they want it to be actually used. But there's some really good and I'm going to go into the woods here. It's Kill Team adjacent. I swear to God, dear listeners, it is
Talking
Kill
about
Team
another
adjacent.
game. Oh my
It
god!
is. I am going to talk about another game. So, and it's also got a bit of an odd title. So I'm just going to say it. I love cock, and it's Chain of Command (COC). It's a game that is skirmish bolt action. Yeah, and it is Chain of Command, and the initial. And I love it. It's great. And initially, the start of the game, but in the rules, the start of the game is sort of like a mini game, but it's basically to determine your deployment zone. So it really works well because you've got to think about it. You basically deploy tokens, and you basically take turns deploying tokens where your guys can spawn, and you can choose which models spawn there, but they have to be. You basically stop deploying tokens when you get within, say, like 9 inches. I'm using an arbitrary measurement, but when you get within 9 inches of another token, of an enemy's token, and they have to be like 6 inches away from friendly tokens. But it means you're kind of like thinking where I might want to deploy. And then if they want to end it and they just go bang, bang, they can like go straight towards one of your tokens and be like, now we're starting. It's just an interesting game, but I remember playing that, and that's really fun because it's almost like a strategy before that's going to really impact the game. And I've not played Sentries to know, but I don't think it has. I think you can play. I'm not too sure if it impacts the game that much. It probably does. I'm just being very ignorant.
Well, I guess it does in terms of that model does start where it
that
ends
model
up.
starts.
So yeah, and I'm pretty sure
That's
even
pretty good then.
the sentries are the same because they kind of like got randomly determined movement, so they can kind of end up here, there, and everywhere. So there's definitely I mean, I think again with only seeing it and seeing it used versus using it myself. Yeah, it definitely would add some elements because it could end up being those units also being in advantageous positions, but also could be very negative. You could have 2 guys, out in the middle of no cover kind of thing. So it's like I said, it's interesting. I think the thing that probably hurts it is it doesn't feel to me, it doesn't feel as intuitively worked into the game. Like whereas that other one you were talking about, Russ, there, Cock, I believe it was called. It feels like that is, you learn that when you learn the game. It's intrinsically part of it. It's like
it was meant to be there. It's not been bolted on afterwards.
This feels a bit tacked on, and I think for a game also that we know can be, as we just found out in my last segment, can be quite rules heavy or rules complicated. That was the last thing we wanted, was another thing we had to remember.
Exactly. Yeah. I think we've probably seen the same one. I think I saw Grimdark Gamers use sentries in a mission. It was really fun to watch it. I was like, oh, that's quite cool. I really enjoy that. That'd be quite interesting to try in a battle report that I was filming. But I was like, would I want to play it? Like if I sat down at a game and I'm like, we've got 2 hours to play a game, would I want, because you've got to do, I'm guessing it's relatively like engaging. You've got to think about what you're doing. I know the sentry person just seems to roll dice to determine where they go, but that might be like 20 minutes, say, if I'm being generous. That might be a 20-minute pre-game, and I'm like, the cock setup is only like 5 minutes. Well, it can be quicker, but he's loving that. But it's but you just basically it's kind of like checkers. You're like, boom, that goes there. Like it's basically just like planting like objectives, but like you plant your deployment zone, so it's quite cool. But it can really change it. But I don't know.
Yeah, look, it'd be interesting. I reckon people chuck it in the comments, below on the YouTube vid.
Have you tried it?
Have you tried it? Do you find it adds a lot to the game? Because that's it. It's easy for us to sit here and go, nah, but it might actually be really good. But do you know what?
Or it might be dumb. Tell us. Might be dumb.
It might
be really cool, or it might be dumb. Tell us.
Yeah. Those are your options.
It's time for everyone's second favorite part of the favorite segment.
Is it speaking of things that are dumb?
I didn't make the connection, but that's where we've ended up. Everybody, it's Legions of Russ.
Good luck to us. We'll only say this once. It's finally time for Legions of Russ.
Wowzers, trousers. Good luck to us.
I hum that on my way to bed. It's beautiful.
Right.
It's
okay, baby.
I'm excited. I had to spectate the last one. I had to literally sit there and watch.
Are you impressed, Rhys?
I actually was. I must admit, because when Russ first said them, I was like, "What?"
My first reaction is always, like I think I've taken my glasses off both times. I'm like, what am I doing right now? And then
you turn the radio down so you could see better. Like you were just really like.
Also, props to you, Russ, because you keep coming up with these pretty regularly, and I think that's almost as impressive as guessing the answers. So
it takes a certain kind of mind.
Yeah.
Although you got them so quickly last time, I was disappointed, if I'm honest. Like, I want you to get them, but I want you to think like the last one. You were just like, I'm just going to shoot from the hips here. Invictus. And you got it. And I was just like, damn, man.
Shebang bang.
Damn. Almost left. Almost pulled a Rhys and just, I'm gone. Leave you on your own. So
it was fear that held me back last week.
You just didn't want to have to deal with Legions of Russ.
Couldn't do Legions of Russ. Couldn't do it.
It's more difficult now. You've forced my hand.
Okay.
Also, I'm resetting the score to 1 Ben, 0 Rhys. So you're still the champion. You're still the Legions of Russ champ, Ben. Fear not, your title is safe. But to give Rhys a fighting chance, because it was going to be 3-0 otherwise, and he's got the hat trick on you. I didn't think you were coming back from that.
Because it's first to 93,
not that I don't
isn't
believe
it?
in you.
Yeah, I just won't show up next week, and maybe you'll have mercy on me then. Yeah, maybe you'll. Yeah. A pity.
I probably should explain it tonight, just in case. Like, is anyone tuning in to just episode 5?
Listeners. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So,
if anybody's still listening to this fever dream of a podcast,
welcome, dear travelers. Weary travelers, rest your... Yeah, I'm just going to explain the game. So, Legions of Russ is not really Legions of Russ, it's Chapters of Russ. But we're going to go through slightly obscure, hopefully obscure chapters. Currently, we're working through the Space Marines, but eventually, once we've exhausted them, if we ever can, we'll move on to other things. But we're going through the chapters. We're using obscure, tedious Link-style riddles, that you have to break down into individual segments to try and figure out. And that's what we're going to do. We've got 2 today. Currently, we're going to do the score. Yeah, 2 again. Well, as always, the second one's always a little bit more tedious. We'll see. I mean, I've got 2. I didn't think we'd get through both last time, but you just shot through them. And there's 2 of you now. So between the both of you, you should probably get them.
Just shoot right through them.
Twixt the 2. So this isn't part of it. That was a slow belch. Round 3. Number 1. I almost read it out then. Sorry.
Blood Angels.
I've got like my things lined up, and the first thing is obviously the name of the chapter, and then it goes into the thing, and I almost went straight into it, and I was like, can you guess it? But no, I stopped myself. So remember, dear listeners,
hands on buzzers. I think, can we just say too, if you are listening at home, obviously your name is your buzzer, so just yell out your name when you think you know it. Okay, just get them to participate.
Are you telling people to like just like if I'm Steve, I'm on the bus, I'm listening on the podcast, to just be like, Steve?
Yes.
Yep.
I want them to do it. Just let's let it go. Just move on. So everyone ready? Hands on your buzzers.
Hands on buzzers.
Hands on buzzers.
I guess you could leave your guesses in the comments if you get to this stage and you're watching the video and you want to guess, but do it properly. Don't go ahead and know
Don't
what
cheat.
it is.
We'll know.
Don't cheat.
God
we'll
will
know
if you cheat. God will know if you lie. So yeah.
Okay. So are we ready? Rhys, are you ready?
Standing by.
He's turned up, so that's a good point. Ben, are you ready?
Is that a point actually? Do I...
Okay, so remember, break it down into the individual segments, otherwise it won't make sense.
Okay.
Trust me, it won't even make sense then.
Yeah.
So, are we ready?
Ready.
I can
We're both
give
ready.
hints.
We're both
Okay.
ready.
I can't say ready anymore.
We're gonna ask one more time. Am I
Rhys! Oh, sorry. Okay.
Oh yeah, so you're gonna do that as well. Oh, should we actually do it? Sorry, we're not ready.
Well,
We're
because
gonna
Ben
do it where
stole it from me
you.
last time.
You
I
did.
sort of. I made it.
I did steal that point off of you.
Yeah,
I really did.
I think.
and that's why I took last week off.
Yeah. To recover from the insult. Okay, I think that's a good. I think Rhys makes a good point.
Rhys, correct.
We can talk freely, but when you have a guess, it only counts if you say your name first.
Yeah.
It's on.
Okay.
Okay. Round 3. Get ready. Taiwanese-born director is kicking it with Elle Macpherson and Elle Fanning intently watching Harry Potter's best mate.
All right.
Yeah. No. Okay. Wow.
All right. So we got
Ron is the
Ron
last.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ron Weasley the last for sure, right?
Or the astral
Either
weasels.
Ron-
Maybe.
Astral Weasleys. Bingo. But you didn't say your name, so you don't get
Sorry,
a point.
Ben, the astral
Yes, Ben. And Ben gets the point. You were hoisted by your own petard there, Rhys.
This game is nonsense.
Okay.
Hey, so the second
Russ,
one?
give that to us again, please.
Okay, I will give out hints. If you want a hint on the first part, I can give you a film that said Taiwanese-born director has made. So, Taiwanese-born director is kicking it with... What, sorry?
That's the part 1. Okay. And then
Part 1. Yeah, I guess, part 1. Part 2 is these are very loose. Is kicking it with Elle Macpherson and Elle Fanning as they intently watch. That's part 3. And then the last part is Harry Potter's best mate.
Intently
Do you
watch.
want
Is
any
that like
hints?
stare? Is that like stare?
You're in the right. You're in the right.
or
Try and think of it as
glare?
that last part is one word,
Yeah.
and the intently watch is basically the... I'm going to give you a real big clue here. Should I give you a big clue yet, or I'll let you dangle a little longer?
No, go
It's
back
basically
to
the
the
first part of that word.
Yeah. Go back to the start. Let's go. Let's the Taiwanese-born director.
Taiwanese-born director. Would you
Because
like a hint on this?
Yeah, I reckon that because that's
Yeah.
Okay,
my
this might give you a little
Taiwanese directors. My knowledge is not great on them.
So think Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
So like, are we? This is probably too big of a clue. Are we trying to guess a movie? Or are we thinking like?
No, it's
Like,
the name of the
name of-
director. Specifically the first part of the director's name.
Taiwanese, like.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that film.
There's quite a lot of action films. Oh no, I'm thinking of someone else actually. No, it's that's not a good start.
That was the worst hint ever.
I mean, there is, but there's. I'm trying to think of famous films you might have known that you would know that he directed.
Yeah.
Okay, there's only one.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon's the big one.
Is what he
Yeah.
directed. Okay, I don't know who directed that. Okay, stab in the dark
Life
here.
of Pi. It's a short name.
Is it okay? There's only one that I can think of. Is it Ang?
Ang Lee.
Ang
Is the
Lee?
director.
Okay.
Congratulations. That's your first
That's
part.
the
So
only director.
Taiwanese.
I was even scared to say it. I was like, oh, is he not Taiwanese? And I was scared. Okay, all right. So Ang Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the first part. So Taiwanese-born director.
Now, are we using both the Ang and the Lee, or just Ang? We don't know. Okay. All right. What's the next
I'm not
part?
going to tell you that. Is Kicking It with Elle Macpherson and Elle Fanning.
All right, it's definitely Angel or Angels of something.
It's Ang and then L's. So Elle Macpherson and Elle Fanning. So there's two L's. So
Yeah.
L. So
Angels.
Angels.
Okay.
Ang,
Or
L's.
Angles, depending on your spelling.
It is Angels. Okay.
Good one there,
Angels.
Rhys. Good one. I that was beyond me. Yeah.
This is the time you need to start being like shouting out your names. 'Cause
Yeah,
you're
I
getting close to
know.
it. So the last part that you need to get
Angels.
is as they intently watch Harry Potter's best mate.
Oh,
I'm going to need people's names before they guess as well.
yeah.
Because this is going to be very close. I suspect. Down to the wire. So what's Harry Potter's best mate's name?
Ron. So it's
Ron.
Ron.
Yeah.
Reese, is
Intently watch.
Is it Angels of Redemption?
I don't know how you make that leap, but it's not.
No, I was a leap.
It will
Start
actually have... I'm going to give you clues. Actually got Ron as part of the word.
Yeah, okay.
It's not pronounced
I just went
the same.
Redemption, Ron. I don't know.
Got you.
Ron.
Angels
That's the right
of-
thinking. Intently watch. Intently watch. It's a 3-letter word. Intently watch. And it can be boiled down to one letter. Let us hear a name and then a guess.
I.
Is there a name? What do
Okay,
you get
Ben. Angels of Iron.
Ben? Yes. Angels of Iron. He's got it. Can we hear a crowd
Go,
roar?
son. Angels of Iron. Oh my goodness.
Angels of Iron.
I've definitely
Woo-wee.
never heard of that chapter though. So this
Neither
well
have I.
played. Well played.
There
That's
you go.
that
There you go.
is.
Wow.
I like to think my knowledge is pretty good on them, and that don't think I ever would have got.
Angels of Iron. Man, I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now. Can't lie.
You-
I mean,
you
Russ
want-
did have to like feed it too. It's like it's a 3-letter word, but it could also be just one letter.
Sounds like
Looking.
I was going too hard, like with intently watch. I was like stare, glare.
Yeah.
You know, like I went the wrong way. I
left you hanging out there a little bit.
Yeah.
I do feel bad. So
Damn.
Angels of Iron. So the Angels of Iron are a loyalist space marine chapter of unknown founding and origins. Another one of these. Almost nothing is known about this chapter in Imperial
Fantastic.
records, but we've got a color scheme. They've basically got like this blue silver armor with kind of gold trim, the gold kind of regalia over the front of their chest, and blue pauldrons, and their iconography, their shoulder pad is 2 keys, like when you get keys to the city, it's like 2 crossed keys. They do have they are known to display their loyalty and dedication to the Imperium of Man by decorating their power armor with loads of purity seals and intricate scroll work. So they're quite devout. They're kind of like the like good word bearers, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Angels of
Well,
Iron. Never.
I learned something today.
Yeah.
And I think that's the real winner here.
That's the real
Absolutely.
victory. That's the
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
victory.
Do you want the second?
Well, yes, because I need to get a point on the board.
Yes.
You kind of do. It's 2-0 to Ben at the
So
moment.
I know.
officially 2-zip, right?
I don't know.
2-zip. It's
Oh, man.
5-zip unofficially.
Unofficially, yeah, that's
we
right.
include the test. Oh no, Rhys got the test one, so technically it would be 4-1 if we include the test, but we don't include
But
the
we're
test.
not.
So
Hang on, we
No.
include Ben's unofficial ones, but my
No,
what about
no, it's
assists?
2-0.
Do I get any
It's
points for
2-0. Yeah, it's 2-0.
2-zip.
2
Okay.
to 1.5.
Thank
No.
you.
Okay, so this
Here we go.
one. Okay, well, let's roll that sweet, sweet intro again.
Good luck to us. We'll only say this once. It's finally time for Legions of Russ.
And we're back in.
Gets so much better. It just gets better and
It
better.
just gets better. I think it's because you did the harmonies over the things,
Yep.
Rhys.
Yeah. Like you said you were going to do. You said you were going to do
Like,
that.
yeah,
And I
well,
appreciate you
promise we
following
would.
through.
My
don't know how you
vocal
got that high-
coach says I've come leaps and bounds. Like my vocal coach is really impressed. So
That sounds like your parkour coach, to be honest, but
Yeah.
it's going well.
I
That
do
was
them
a
at the same
bad
time.
one.
Actually, it's the same person.
Well, that's a deal. That's a bargain.
That's good. Okay, so the next one. This is
Loosen
gonna
up.
need some help. You're gonna need some help.
Oh,
Trust me. But you never know. You never know. So
people at home, get ready with your name.
Get
Remember to
ready.
yell it out
shout
on the
out your
train.
names. Right. Everyone ready? Ben, you ready? Champ.
ready.
Sorry, Champ. You ready, Champ?
Yeah, the champ. The champ is
Number
ready.
number one contender, Rhys. Ready to
Yeah,
go. We need this.
good.
You need this,
Yeah.
buddy.
Come
You
on,
need
it's
this
good.
to
Good
take the champ. So, a half funny, half of a famous Latino singer heaves herself into a job at the Office for National Statistics.
Boy, that's a wild one. Okay, is the middle? Is that like J Lo? Is that like Jennifer Lopez?
Yeah, I think it's Lopez or Lope or Jen.
well,
or is it Jan?
I think
Maybe
it'll
it's
make
Jan.
more sense. It'll
Do we get
make
the
more
beginning?
sense when you get the first part of it. Yes,
Which
So what-
was
a half funny.
Oh, funny. I've been called that before.
at least you were called funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
at least you got that far. Half funny. What is that?
What's half of
Is that-
funny?
Oh, ha. H-A?
And what do you think half of a famous Latino singer might be?
Halo.
Oh,
Whoa!
Sorry, I'm going to stop yelling things. Sorry.
Reese is hungry.
He's
Reese is
clocked in.
hungry.
He needs-
Hungry for the
This
win.
is- Oh, he's coming
Can
back
we
in
mute,
for the.
Can we mute Ben so he can't hear me yelling things like an idiot? Okay, all right, next.
so-
Let's go.
Right. So we've got the first part.
Mm.
So this next bit might be. I worry that this next bit's too British. So, but
We're sons
the
of
next
Brits.
part is heaves herself, and then the next bit is into a job at the Office for National Statistics. So, heaves herself.
Was that like throw?
Throw. I was
Yeah.
thrown.
That's what you're looking. We're looking at like a thesaurus
Launch.
on the word, basically on
Heave, yeah,
heaves.
heave,
Another word for
throw.
heaves or heave.
Vomit.
No, that's it. The Halo Vomit.
The Halo Vomit. I knew it.
The Halo Vomit Night. Point for Rhys.
Excuse
You
me,
don't, you
Ben.
don't want to see
Yeah.
their colours.
Ben. Halo vomits.
It's their color scheme that gets me.
5-0. Yeah, it's like a Jackson Pollock painting.
Heaves,
throws,
and it's not throws.
It's not throws.
Launch, toss.
I could give you a clue. Not on that bit, but on the last bit, if you would wish
Yeah.
for it. So the last bit, I worried that is too. I basically it's because it was so popularized during COVID that I'm super aware of it. But the Office for National Statistics was often abbreviated as our stats were coming out from this department. I think you have it in the in America. I'm not too sure about Oz, but it's quite a standard government agency, so it would be an abbreviation of the Office for National Statistics. Now let's hear a name. Once you get that, it might help you with the first section of heaves herself. You can probably ignore the herself bit and just look at the heaves.
Office of Statistics.
Office for National Statistics. Office National Statistics. So just shorten that down.
Yeah. I've got. I'm not going to yell it out this
All right,
time.
you're trying to think of heaves herself. So we're
yeah.
looking for a half funny, half of a famous Latino singer heaves herself, which is the bit I think we're struggling on now, into a job at the Office for National Statistics. Yell out at home if you have
Okay,
this. You know what? At this
Ben?
stage,
It doesn't. I don't think this makes sense, but it's not like Halo Thrones, right?
It's not. But I mean, you've got the first part,
Ooh.
but you've got technically the last part. It's
Yeah.
just the heaves bit.
Halo.
So shout out at this stage if you're in the comments.
Yeah.
Comment what you think it is. And again,
You're
don't
saying
cheat.
this is the worst segment that is for a non-visual medium because you can't see us
Yeah.
just thinking.
So I could also. Do you want me to give you another? You would do this thing to a lake to find stuff. Okay. You could also.
Is
you
this still
could
British?
Okay, so how's this? I'm gonna give you this, and then basically the first person to say their name after what I say next is gonna get it. RuPaul.
Rhys. It
Rhys?
is the Halo Dragons.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
The Halo Dragons.
Yay!
The
I would
man's got a
never
point on
have
the
got
board.
Eve's
Nice.
Drags. It makes
Neither-
sense. Now you've said it makes sense. Now I know it. But I would never have got
I would never have got that.
There you go. So
well, tell us
Heaves
a little
was
bit
drag.
about the Halo Dragons.
Nice.
Yes. Okay. So the Halo Dragons, we can put a picture of their what you call it. Or Rhys, you said you were going to cosplay. You've got some Space Marine armor you've built up, so you can just wear that. I know you hadn't decided on a color scheme, so this might be a good
So
time
yeah,
to.
you can just decide on the Halo.
Go with what I
Dragons,
feel. I'll go with what I feel.
Yeah. So it's like a dark green kind of black, I guess ebon, as they always call it, like ebon power armor, and it's got like a green, like a scorpion green. If I'm going on the old school color scales, yeah, like green. They kind of look like Dark Angels. If I'm honest, it's a bit rubbish.
Oh.
Like a green, like chest regalia,
Aquila?
kind of like the Aquila sign, and they've got like a red logo, and the logo is kind of like a. I was going to try and act it out, which is going to look really weird. It's like a dragon with its wings spread, but you don't see its legs. It's basically its wings upwards to its head that's looking sideways. So it's kind of like, and then it's like a iron halo. Yeah, like this.
That's real nice.
It's an iron halo, a red iron halo. It's above their head. So the Halo Dragons, they're a loyalist Space Marine chapter of unknown origins and foundings. But they had a big run-in with the Tau.
Really?
During the Zeist campaign of 999M41.
Was that the Top Knot campaign? Was that one?
They basically, I think they went around systematically shaving Tau to get rid of the Tau.
Because it was heresy. Yeah.
Tau.
Yeah.
Because they're
like
Samsons. They were more powerful with hair. And the ones with the little rubbish Jedi dangly dreadlocks,
the little rat tail.
They were rubbish in combat, and they were like, you know what?
That's
these guys
actually why they're so bad in
nuts.
melee. Yeah, that's why they're all so bad in melee now, because they don't have their top knots. Yeah,
they don't have the top knots.
I apologize. Yeah.
So that was the Zeist campaign, also known as the Barber Wars, or the Barbarous. I can't remember what it's called, something like that.
People often confuse it with the Badab War, but this is the Barber War. Yeah,
the Badab War, Barber War, Bad Hair War.
Yeah,
one of them. But it was hard fought.
Yeah, it was brutal.
There by a hair's width they got it. That's basically their biggest thing, is being part of the Zeist campaign.
Oh, nice.
Was that another hair pun? The part I like that.
So they were called. They heeded the call of Marnius Calgar to join said Zeist campaign. Oh, my legs hurt. That was it. But that has been Legions of Russ.
Play the outro.
Good luck to us. We'll only say this once. It's finally time for Legions of Russ.
Goodbye. We can dub me out and obviously have the actual.
Sounds like bad BGs.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the. Hang on a second. I'm gonna do the tank thing because it's me like doing this.
Oh yeah. For those listening, he's thrusting wildly like he's in a tank turret there.
Yeah, maybe here next time I'll bring my guitar and I can sing it live.
We're doing it live.
You can just do the chicken head bob thing. Yeah. Yep.
We're nearly out of time today, but one thing we have to get to. This is big. This is the other new segment. So we've now got 3 segments. We've got 3 things.
Man alive.
And this one,
Who do
I
we
think
think
it
we
was
are?
Russ. I think you made the intro to this one, and I must say I'm hugely impressed.
Wow, it really just blew me
With,
away.
If you thought the harp didgeridoo of mine was impressive, if you thought Ben's dulcet, beautiful John Mayer-esque vibes on Legions of Russ was amazing, you are going to be shocked. You know, we're going to roll straight into it. Let's play the intro here for Ben's Book Club.
What you got there, buddy? Let's take a look. Don't be scared, it's just your new favorite book. Ben's Book Club.
Whoa,
Some of my best work.
Gosh,
Whoa.
Russ.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think I think you did it. I think we shouldn't play Legions of Russ anymore. I think I'm so embarrassed now.
Scrap all other segment
I'm
intros.
embarrassed for you.
We're going to play that segment intro regardless of segment. It's just that is the one.
Even if it goes nowhere.
Yeah,
This is
balls
it.
in. That may just be the show. That may just be the show for
On
future.
repeat. Yeah.
On repeat.
Just roll.
For an hour.
Just roll it. Yeah.
So Ben, we've got this new seg. Tell us a little bit about Ben's Book Club.
Yeah, welcome to my really well thought out segment that I am doing. So we're all nerds. We all like reading stuff. And I am currently, you guys are longtime 40K Warhammer enthusiasts and have gone through the Horus Heresy books. Probably 20, 30 years ago when you guys were young men. You read through those books.
Whippersnap.
I am getting to it just now because my shirt says I'm young and full of energy, and so I am reading the Horus Heresy books, and I read Horus Rising, and boy, good book, good job to that guy who wrote that. And I'm
Dan
also
Abnett.
Abnett, yes, I mean he's the best, right? Him and ADB.
My boy.
I mean
My
those
boy.
are yeah. I'm an Abnett guy myself, but
ADB is
ADB is also really good. And so right now I have like 2 hours left on False Gods is what it's called, right? False Gods. And so I've been reading that, and it's been really nice to, I've read a lot of Warhammer Wiki, over the years, but it's nice to actually get the from the source, stuff. I don't know. And it's
Written
nice,
by an actual author versus.
It's nice to get your product from the source is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And so I've been really enjoying it. Horus, real likable guy. Gotta love Horus. I'm right now I'm struggling with, man, is he going to turn just like on a dime? I'm right at that point where he's just been injured and they're taking him to to the Serpent's Lodge and all that kind of good stuff. And so it's like right on the tipping point. And so that's where I'm at. I've been reading that and really enjoying it. And so I would love to know what everybody's been reading, not my two fellow dudes here, but also in the comments, let us know what you're reading. I would love to know. But what have you guys been reading or chewing or watching or listening to any good content?
Did you say chewing?
Chewing. Yeah, you don't chew your content?
Yeah, I don't know how you read.
Yeah,
but I chew as well. Yeah. This is more directed at Russ. Like I chew when I read.
I'm a chewer as well.
It's me. It's clearly me.
Yeah, I'm a book.
This is another Brit cred moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm more.
We had
upset than anything
confirmation
at
today.
Russ.
Then we had confirmation. It's not a thing.
We don't know that guy's not American. We don't know where he's from. We don't know he's American. I believe I said in the States we call it Brit cred. I don't know if that's true, but I think that's what I said. We don't know where that guy's from. That's
well,
all I'm saying.
due to American television, we also in the land it's a Brit cred. Yeah,
it is the Brit cred. Yeah.
Yep. I'm just sorry. It's
the Queen's Zone.
It's the Queen's Zone.
Here, there's a misunderstanding, and it started out as Brit quid. That's what it started out as. But some people will call it the Brit cred. It's a regional thing. If you're from the South, it's the Brit quid. And if you're from the North, it's the Brit cred. Yeah, it's a little cloak. It's just a regional thing.
Most places will still accept it. It's fine.
Yeah. Most places will accept either or.
I'm still challenged.
I love how hard we lean into the stupidest thing in this podcast. Okay. You guys been reading or watching or listening or chewing on anything good lately?
Oh, well, I've been reading Fulgrim, the Palatine Phoenix. I think that's how you say it. So one of the Horus Heresy Primarch books, because yes, as Ben stated, big nerd, and I've read up to date with all the current Horus Heresy stuff. So yeah, I think I like this series because it's I haven't read all of them. I've just kind of been picking the Primarchs I like at the moment. I'll get to all of them, but yeah, they're always cool little, I guess, side stories or interesting parts. Other adventures, often earlier in the Primarch's career before the heresy goes haywire. So it's kind of a cool little, because as you sort of said there, Ben, like the heresy books kick off, and I think Russ, you highlighted in the last one, by the third book, it's the Horus
That's
Heresy.
the heresy,
It's happened, and then everything else is onwards and onto heading to the dark, future of the 41st millennium and the things that set that up. But so this is kind of cool because this takes that step back, which I really, really like, and shows you again, it's a lot more full of hope. But there's always, foreshadowing about the dooms or the character flaws to come. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I'm about halfway through. I read the Alfarius, however you want to say it, one before that, and I really enjoyed that because it's kind of like his take on his own past, but that's the whole point. Is it's because it's told from his perspective. Is it the truth or is it all subterfuge and lie? And it puts a very different spin, and that's what a lot of these books do. They put a bit of a different spin on these characters and what gets established through the heresy.
Super cool.
I think Fulgrim had one of my favorite Horus Heresy kind of journeys. I guess we won't go into it just because, I mean, can we spoil it? But I think because Ben's specifically said that he has started reading them. I know you might not read it, but it is a good one. Maybe we can have that as a suggested read for the book club if people want to do it that way. But I think it's just called Fulgrim.
It's called Fulgrim. Yeah.
Fulgrim. Yeah.
That's not the one you're reading, though, is it? Or was that the one you mean?
So that's from this one's from the Primarch series, which is a step aside from the Horus Heresy stuff. Whereas Fulgrim's, the one from the actual Horus Heresy series, and that's probably is generally one of my favorites. Really, really nice.
His whole story is really cool. I think he's one of my favorite. The Phoenician is one of my favorite of the Primarchs. He's a very cool character. I guess I'm not reading, again, if we're talking about Kill Team adjacent, I'm not reading anything that's 40k or 30k at the moment. I have
anything that's 40k or 30k?
Just my food.
No.
I've been because I've read all the Horusy books, but I'm very happy to go back if we're going to do like a book groupy kind of thing. Very happy to go back. I'm when you just wish you could read them again for the first time. I'm super excited for you to get to the third book because it's so much fun. Like to be fair, the second book is great. You said he'd just
really
been,
good,
so he's been, hasn't he?
So he's been wounded, and then they took him to the Serpent Lodge, and is it like Loken, Garvey or Garviel Loken or whatever? He's like, hey, this is stupid. Why'd you do that? And then that's where I'm at.
It's like great. You're in a weird country and you've taken them to some really dodgy looking hospital. And
you've just seen the green plus and you're like, I'm pretty sure that means go. So let's take him there.
If the word witch is in front of doctor, this is not a doctor kind of situation. It's like, this is a different vibe. I can understand his hesitancy in that situation.
Right.
But Erebus and the others seem really confident. So
man. I've read First Heretic just on a whim. I've read Horus Rising and my God, can't stand Erebus. What a loser that guy is.
I love Erebus.
What a real jerk that guy is.
I mean, he's the worst.
I'm a heretic. I'm a heretic and rather than a loyalist. But man, Erebus, what a little jerk.
Yeah, he's a piece of work.
I love that guy.
Little rascal. Rascal Erebus. Yeah.
That's the one thing I've really liked about Erebus and also Typhon for the Death Guard. I do kind of like that there is those Marines within the legions who have actually been the ones that kind of are the catalysts for the downfalls.
Orchestrating it, yeah.
Yeah, like because they're kind of the like these are the Primarchs. They're the little guys, but they're the crack in the armor or whatever, or the gateway for a lot of those things. And I really like how they've developed some of those characters and their ongoing story of.
Yeah,
I
for
think
real.
I really enjoy that kind of thread.
I think they're the cool one. They're like they're almost the ones that fell to chaos first, and then they kind of
Yeah.
bring their Primarch with. The other two characters that are kind of standouts for me are Luther and
Yes.
Corferon. So they're the
Yes.
two
Oh,
humans
yeah, Corferon,
that
yeah.
didn't. They were too old to be made like Marini. So they were like they were left human, and
That's
like
the technical
Corferon.
term, Marine.
Yeah.
Corferon's like
Well, like-
sort of like they kind of bumped him up a little bit, right? Corferon?
Yeah.
They basically put him in that big like suit of armor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got those like massive claws, but he's basically a human inside this big old. I'm sure he's had like rejuvenate treatments and stuff like that to keep him looking schmick.
The Botox. Yeah, the Botox.
As
Some
just give him a lift.
injections, yeah.
Yeah, fillers.
Well, they called it
armpit
the Luther
fillers.
lift after. Yeah, that's what that
That's
was.
right,
They
yeah.
called
I
it
believe
the
so.
Luther lift
I believe
because
so.
that was he
That's what
started.
I ask for when I go.
Just the Luther lift. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I was talking about what I was reading, but I forgot. Star Wars. So
You were just thinking about your next
read through all
appointment.
the Star Wars. I've read through all the Horus Heresy, and I started some Grimdark in 40k stuff. So I started some of the Eisenhorn stuff, which is great, but I fancied a little change of universe, so I went into the Bane series, and I finished the Bane trilogy, I think it was a trilogy, and now I've started the Revan one. So I
this is
finished
Star
the first
Wars
one.
for those who
Yeah.
might not. Yeah.
The Star Wars
Yeah,
one.
for everyone who just
So it's
turned
quite
off,
fun.
yeah, it's Star Wars.
It's right at the end. If they turn
not
off now, that is
Bane.
fine.
That's a win.
That
Yeah,
is
the
fine.
old Star Wars
I
books
will
are really
take
good,
it.
man. The old Star Wars
Yeah, I
books, a
really
lot of them are
enjoy
really
them.
good.
I don't
Yeah,
want to
they're
get
really
too
good
caught
ones.
up in it, but I read all like the previous like expanded lore stuff from like the extended universe, and then when the new films came out, and they were like, forget about it.
Yeah,
I was
that was
like,
a bit harsh.
I've invested so much mental time and space. Like I've been on such a journey.
Delete.
That's a real feels
Yeah.
bad, yeah.
But we're not here to get
Yeah.
mad about that. We're here to get mad about us not understanding Kill Team rules.
Yeah, so nice. Cool deal.
Yeah.
And you said, did you say Revan? You're in Revan now?
Yes, I'm on
Yeah.
the second Revan book. He's yet to turn up, but it's about him.
Feels
So
a
he
bit
will turn
strange.
up.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, very
it's
cool.
about his son so far, I think. But I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he's gonna show up. I'm sure he ends. I mean, I can't spoil it. It didn't happen. It's one of those, like Rhys said, it didn't technically happen.
Didn't actually
But I
happen,
think
yeah.
it
Not
ends
real.
in the last one. They hint that he might be trapped in some sort of stasis, I think. So he
There's
might
like a
just turn
holocron,
up.
like a Sith holocron or something like that.
No, nobody's not Sith
Oh, what?
at the time that I'm reading it. I think he
Oh,
might.
okay.
I think he goes through some changes.
Like
Sorry.
puberty? Oh.
Yeah, I was like, it's an
Yeah.
adult.
Oh, this
Well,
is
like-
coming of age.
Is
This is
how-
like a Diary of a Wimpy
Yeah.
Kid, but for Revan. Yeah.
How
Like a
far
coming of
in
age.
the Star Wars
Change
timeline
it.
is this? What's it? How far from like what's the scale of how far before Return of the Jedi
Scale of
or A New Hope
Kevs.
is it? Yeah, scale of
Yeah.
Kevs. How far back?
One Kev being Rogue One. And
Yeah.
Yeah. How many Kevachlorians?
Kevachlorian. He was strong. In fact, I conceived entirely of Kevachlorians.
Oh,
Apart from when they're near those weird lizard things.
of course, yeah.
yeah.
I think
They
Rhys
were
will probably know what I mean.
counter-
'Cause that's
Counter Clev Chlorians. Yes, I understand.
Ah,
yeah. I think
I know
actually
what
it
you
was
mean,
originally a clone. It's confusing. It gets, but I think it's roughly X million years. I have no idea.
Yeah,
There's an
'cause
emperor still kicking about,
yeah, okay.
which makes it weird because everyone seems to have forgotten that the emperor is a title for the big bad. And then the dude's like, I'm going to be the emperor now. And no one's like, hang on, didn't we kill all the emperors because they were evil, evil people? And they were like, nah, but I mean, even though he looks
He's a
evil
good
as
one, though.
shit. But no, he's fine.
Yeah,
He's
people
fine.
always
on his
shocked.
eyes yellow. Isn't he killing people with lightning?
Mm.
Probably good.
Only
probably
good
good.
fun. He's doing it ironically.
He's
Yeah.
he's
It's a
got
bit
that
of
Luna
casual
thing.
killing. Yeah.
It's
I mean, James Bond kills and he's a good guy, so maybe this guy's just a good guy. It's one of those things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Cool deal.
Shocking. All fools.
well, look,
Cool
I
with
think
a lot of them.
I think the intro is probably the strongest part of this segment, but I'm excited to see where Ben's book club goes. I'm excited to keep touching base each week to see what we're reading. And even again in the comments, let us know what should we read. Recommended reading for the wonderful world of Kill Team.
That would be cool.
It'd be nice for all of us to read the same thing and then kind of talk about it. And I think that'd be a fun group project for all of us.
Well, we have talked about that. Maybe we go back and either catch up or jump in with you at the Heresy, and we could even look at walking through the Heresy together.
Ooh, wow. That sounds
a journey
delightful.
Through the Heresy.
Yeah.
Or like maybe if there are like some like good one-off books from the Heresy, like I don't know if that's a thing, but some stuff that maybe you don't have to read like up to a point.
Almost all of them past the first 3, and then the last Siege of Terror stuff are pretty much all standalone books. So you could be like this.
Yeah, you could pick and choose.
Like read this one, like the Fulgrim one. That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Ooh,
maybe we should. Yeah, maybe we should all do the Fulgrim.
I just want Ben to read all 900 of them. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I feel a little bit inadequate. I got to be honest. I know you guys have read them all, and I haven't. Even though I know what happens, right? I'm still going to go ahead and read them just because. I guess this is my life now. This is what I do.
You read books and misunderstand rules, as we all do.
And I don't even get paid for it. This is just what I choose to do. Yeah.
Well, look, this has been a mammoth episode, and I'm excited. I was enthusiastic. I wanted it to go for a lot longer because I feel like I missed out. But thank you so much to everyone who stuck with us, especially through the awkward silences of Legions of Russ, where you can probably just hear our brains ticking,
just breaking.
You can edit the cut. You can cut those bits so it sounds like you got them straight away.
Yeah,
that's what I did last time. It was actually
smart.
like 40 minutes of silence where Ben
that was a 3-hour podcast. It was 3-hour record time.
And I was just like, let's just make Rhys feel like you got it straight away. And you're like, I got it. Yeah.
We'll do something in the edit. Thank you.
Exit in post.
One thing I've seen too, I wanted to point out, there's been quite a few people have actually left us really, really sweet reviews on like Apple Podcast and stuff like that. So
that's great.
A huge thank you to everyone who took the time to leave reviews. They actually do go a really, really long way on whatever you listen. If you can find a way to rate it, review it, whatever it is, that goes a long way. I mean, we were number 12 in Latvia for hobby podcasts for a while there. So
that's a big win.
So hello to our Latvian audience. Thank you for listening. You guys are legends. That's great. I love everything about that. So no, it goes a long way to keeping the podcast pumping and getting it to more ears. And always leave in the comments what you're liking, what you want us to talk about, any segment suggestions of things you'd like us to make new segment openers for. Russ's and Ben's skills are both available for hire. Mine are too expensive. So don't ask. But yeah, Russ, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks very much. Ben, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. Sorry, I was checking to see if I could find the reviews.
I thought we were going to do like a full circle where Rhys thanks me, I thank you, and Ben was...
Yeah. Yep, no, that's fine, Ben. I'll wait.
This is amazing. Like,
right.
Ben knows he still doesn't thank Rhys. Just like, I'm leaving it.
Yes. Thank you for having me, Rhys. Yes, thank you for having me, Russ. Thank you for having me, both of you.
That'll do.
Close enough.
We'll see you next time on Kill Team Casuals. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.